We're here at the 2019 Property Portal Watch Conference in Madrid with Malcolm. Malcolm from European Internet Ventures. Thank you very much for opening the conference this time. The first time I've had a guest opener, and it was fantastic to have your presentation. What I would love it is if you could give sort of, what were the 2 or 3 key takeaways that people should have from that presentation?
Thank you, Simon. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to start the conference this year. So I think there's some very interesting developments going on. I think the most important one is that the models which have been very successful over the past years, what I call the Classifieds 2.0 models, which is simply about listings and promoting listings, are increasingly coming under threat. So I think the key message is you can't just stay in this comfort zone of Classifieds 2.0. You've got to do something else. Classifieds 3.0, which is ancillary services, has some mileage, but it's usually a more expensive mileage.
Now what's an ancillary service?
So that would be selling mortgages, selling finance,
Okay.
of different forms of home repairs or insurance. I think that those kinds of services can go some way, but you usually have a lot of other competing vendors for those services, so property portals aren't necessarily making the same margins on selling those services as they are when they are the main listings venue for agents. So I think then the third point then is that, so where are you going to continue to get that growth from? And I think that the real innovator's dilemma for property portals is, do I start selling directly?
Yes.
And we've seen direct sales in emerging markets coming. For example, Zameen is a wonderful example in Pakistan, selling new properties on behalf of the developers. The question is, when are we going to see property portals, for example, in Western markets, saying that some of these properties we will sell with our own team rather than simply provide leads to agents?
So where does that go? I mean, if you're a Rightmove or a realestate.com.au,
Yeah.
you've got so much invested in this 2.0 model, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And to the point you've got hundreds of millions of revenues and billions of market cap. How easy is it to transition those businesses to let's not worry about too much about 3.0, because they're really playing a little bit there.
Yes.
And it's not going to fundamentally move the needle on the on
Exactly.
valuations. So going to the 4.0 world, do they jump or do they stay a 2.0 business? And does someone else start to just chip away?
So my fear is that there is so much at stake that they are less likely to be leaders than followers. I think it will be the success of businesses like Purplebricks in the UK, which effectively, in the end, as they get bigger, they may not even need a portal to get the buyer leads, which they need to successfully sell properties on their brokerage models. And I think it's at that moment when the portals realize they are losing share, and that they will suddenly realize that they themselves should also capitalize on this opportunity.
Right. Now, when you say losing share, are they've already got a big chunk of the advertising revenue pool,
Yeah.
but you're talking about them missing out on growing into the commission pool?
I think it's two things. I think also, the financial stability of a lot of the traditional agents, the shop-based agents, is looking weaker and weaker. You can look at companies like Countrywide in the UK, and therefore, can you as a portal continue to prosper when your core subscriber base is actually not as financially strong as they have been? And I would hazard a guess that Purplebricks is paying pro rata less and less for their listings on Rightmove and Zoopla. So I think that's the driver.
Okay, and you have the issue for those incumbents is they need to continue to grow, and unless they do something different, it's pulling the revenue lever. But as you say, Countrywide can only pay so much in the United Kingdom before eventually go, I'm sorry, enough's enough. There's nothing else to take.
But I think the really interesting examples will be when we see portals proactively embracing this change.
Yes.
Because if you combine the transaction capability of a hybrid agent with the reach and pricing information of a top portal, you can make the most amazing experience for buyers and sellers. And ultimately, it should be the market and who can best fulfill the needs of buyers and sellers that should determine the shape of these platforms in the future.
And you also think that there's a degree of evolution of the buyer anyway. As the younger people become older, have access to more money, and are far more comfortable with online. And we've seen in other presentations like Spot at Home, where the go online, you see the house, you rent it, you've never even walked into it.
Exactly. We're seeing more and more big ticket items buy online. You know, cars more and more is another very good example. And I also think that there will be moves to try and declutter and simplify the end-to-end transaction process. So yes, I think there just won't be a need for hand-holding, if for want of a better term, at least for some segments, and that will become increasingly the case. And you can think of many other walks of life where we had far more personalized service in the past. We used to have people in the hotels lobbies opening doors, and now we have automatic doors. Yeah. Nobody needs to have somebody to open a door for them. And it's a trivial example. Or tailors. We used to have tailors who would hand make and measure your suit. Most people don't think it's necessary anymore. Yes. And I don't want to belittle the great role which agents have played, but I think that there will be fewer and fewer individuals who are looking for that full tailored service.
Yes, it's almost like for the mass market, they may have had their time.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
It's the natural evolution.
Yeah.
The horse and buggy disappeared, and real estate agency for the main market may go the same way.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Malcolm, as always, a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us at the conference.
Thank you, Simon. It's been great being here.
Great, thank you.